Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching this so-called consumer seminar live at your place with your agents here. And today my topic that I'm going to share with you here is what are the 5 points that actually stop you from buying and selling during a crisis. And this is something that I feel very important in today's market because many customers that I've spoken to, I think they have a lot of concern and fear, which I think is a very valid reason that most people will have all this concern in their mind. And therefore today I just want to address some of this concern and some of the precautions that you can actually do before you actually decided whether to buy or to sell. Because important is understanding. Important is to learn as much as you can so that you can see whether is it an advantage to you in today's market. Therefore, later on when I'm going to share with you, there are some of these statistics, some of the numberings, so that you can have a what? A clearer understanding of what I'm going to go through with you in a short while. Of course, just a disclaimer, whatever I'm going to share with you here is based on some of the research that I've done. So, of course, it's between your opinion, my opinion, but I'm very sure that your agents will be able to advise you very clearly how every of the single slides that I'm going to go through with you, how the number works. My agents will definitely assist you. I really feel that you should really spend some effort to really listen to what I'm going to share with you, because this is exactly my journey in terms of property investment or property purchase, how I build my wealth through assets. And that's the reason why I'm very, very happy to so-called take this opportunity to reach out to you guys here so that you can have a better understanding. Now, what are the 5 points that actually stop people from buying and selling in today's market? Mainly because of what? Fears, because of uncertainties, a lot of concerns in their mind. And of course, some of us will be worried about what? Installment. Whether because of your uncertainties about job opportunity, a lot of people will have what? Concern and this kind of fear, right? Of course, investment is risky, which I think many people will have this thing in their mind, especially in today's situation, which nothing wrong. Later on, I will address all these things. Believe that developer will cut price. I think a lot of customers also ask me, Kelvin, will the developer cut price in today's situation? Well, later on, all these things will be explained. And next, stock versus property. Stock, is definitely more liquid. I think this is a very common thing that if today market, if you have money, will you want to place your money in the stock market or will you want to place in a property? And all these are valid reasons. These are the valid things I probably think that will be in your mind and probably stop many people from buying and selling. Therefore, today I just want to take this opportunity to share with you my thoughts and my opinion. No right, no wrong, just an opinion. You can take a look at it so that you can see whether yes or no. I leave the final decision to you. Now, of course, if you look at this whole situation, the first one that I'm talking about, if you look at speculation, I can tell you today we cannot buy property because speculation is a so-called a risk factor. And I don't think it's right if you're looking at property as a form of what? Short term. That's why between stocks and property, there's a bit of differences is what? Property, we are looking at a long-term time frame. We are not looking at a short-term time frame. That's the reason why I feel that property in long-term, people will see much more better opportunity. Later on, you will probably see what? Especially today, we look at all the stock market is diving. Of course, today I checked the STI, at least the STIs went up, but it will become a roller coaster in the next 1 week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks down the road. It will be the norm moving forward. Therefore, this is definitely a people mindset. Well, stock market is crashing. Maybe I should put money in the stocks market, which is no wrong about it, right? So, of course, the next thing is what? A lot of people will have a lot of concern, loss of income. A lot of people will be uncertainties. Also about unemployment, especially the aviation group of people. They are the frontline people. They are more stressed than anybody else, which I can totally understand because why? If I'm in your position, I would definitely have this kind of concern, which I think is a very valid answer to all of you here. And that's the reason why today my purpose is to share with you what? How can you prepare yourself? Because why? We cannot plan time. We can plan that next year we buy a property. But do we know what's going to happen next? Actually, no one will know the answer whether yes or no. Just like today, we know that today is uncertainty. Of course, most people would not want to buy anything or would not want to invest in anything because of what? Uncertainties and uncomfortable. But of course, there are a group of people who definitely choose to buy things during this period of time. Why? because they see an opportunities as well. Therefore, today my purpose of talking is very important. What can we learn from it? What can we understand from it so that we can avoid all these costly mistakes that you should not be making? Today, I just want to go through all these things so that you can have a what? A better understanding. Of course, definitely most people, like I mentioned just now, everybody will say no to buying or no to buying anything at all. Because why? Today, my job already uncertainty. Of course, I understand all these things here. But important for those people who think that you can still in a very safe manner, you feel that you are comfortable, I think it's a good time to listen and learn. This is the best time to learn, not just about buying and selling. My purpose is very clear. I want all of you to learn first before we talk about buying and selling, because no point going to speculation. That will be at risk. My purpose, my talk is not asking anyone to speculate. If any one of you today have some reserve fund or you have a plan to upgrade, this is the time for you to learn. And ask yourself this question, are you comfortable? I believe that some of my agents here will definitely be having this skill set to guide you through this whole process in a very calm manner. Now, if you look at the SARS duration, we all know that during this SARS period, it takes about 6 months before everything cools off. Next, the H1N1 duration, it also lasts about 10 months. So the next question that is going to happen is what? COVID-19. How long will it last? A lot of people are not sure, especially we talk about government saying that it's a lot of uncertainties in the market, uncertainties whether how long this will last. But in my personal opinion, I'm very happy to see one thing. The China has actually what? Improved. China used to be the number one in terms of the number of infected cases. But today, the number of infected cases has what? Has dropped significantly compared to other countries like US and Europe. Why China is able to do that? Because they are there enough to make this so-called lockdown. When things are locked down, everything starts to stable. The good news is what? We can see what? Wuhan has eased the lockdown and they open up. What does it tell us, my friend? What does it tell everybody? It's whether that the country dare to do this lockdown. But we can see in today's market, Malaysia, Indonesia, and many countries out there are already doing what? Lockdown. Why? Because they can see a very clear understanding that what China has done is what? When they lock down, immediately after 2 months, everything is settled down. Of course, for me, I would not sure know how long will it last. But the good news here is that what? All the airline industry, all the aviation industry, no one is coming in and out. Every country is blocking people from moving here and there. As long as I feel that the government and any countries out there, if they really push for a lockdown, I'm very sure that all this virus will stand still. Why? No one comes in, no one goes out. Everything will stabilize in the next 1 month or 2 months down the road. Luckily for Singapore, that this government has really planned everything very smoothly. We don't need to go into a lockdown situation immediately. Why? Because every precaution has been done very well by the government, which I think they really deserve a round of applause, especially our frontline people who really work day and night out to make sure that everyone is safe. And that is something that I feel that the government has done a very good job. And therefore, if you look at the whole situation here in Wuhan, now has stabilized, everything has back to normal, but of course a lot of precaution. Why? Now that in the next 2-3 weeks down the road or 4 weeks down the road, there will be more important case that is happening. As you can see from Singapore, this is the kind of situation now which is called the so-called a little bit on the, not say a little bit, maybe on the worst scenario now that people are saying. Because why? There are more cases that is upcoming, which is a norm because many people are returning to Singapore. As a result, these are the things that is going to happen subsequently. The question is, how long? For me, I personally think that if I can look at it for the next 9 months down the road, if everything going to be smooth, like US lockdown, Europe lockdown, all the different countries are practicing all the precautions matter. Very simple, this virus works this way. As long as no movement from everyone, things will settle down in a very short while. How long it is, I do not know. I can only say that within the next 9 months, we can see every country now is doing all this precaution. Why do you need to know this? Because why? We are very clear that all the airlines are suspended, the countries are locking down. This will actually tell you very simple thing. As long as everybody shut their door, there will be no imported cases moving forward. We just need to stand by, we just need to stand still for this period of time. Everybody will go through this kind of tough measure now, but we'll be over soon. That's the reason I believe that this whole saga will probably last you for the next 6 to 9 months down the road. This is my opinion, right? So of course, everyone, I really hope that this whole saga will end very soon so that everyone can be back to life. I really hope that everybody can stay safe and healthy, and that's the most ultimate aim that we want. Of course, for those people who are really looking for something out there, is this an opportunity? Therefore, I want to take this opportunity to share with you, because myself has been in the business for the last 18 years. I have went through the SARS, I went through the H1N1. I see many of the real estate market cycle in my journey as well. Therefore, today, I'm very confident to share with you what? In terms of all the statistics, how can you see this as an opportunity for you to what? To learn something, and so that you can make a better decision whether should I move forward or I should not. Now, if you look at this thing, this is a chart that shows the private non-landed properties, the price movement. How the property prices move since day one. For example, in the year of 2003 to 2005, during the SARS period, anyone who dared to actually did something during the initial stage, which is now most people will actually feel very uncomfortable. Same thing, for those people who dare to make a difference and dare to take chances, those who bought in $600 per square foot in 2003, just another 3-4 years down the road in 2007, 4 years, the property appreciated to 1,002, which means that, my friend, for every 1,000 square feet, 600 per square foot, it equivalent to how much profit margin that a person can make, which is about 600,000. Why? Because they dare to take action when everybody has fear. Later on, I'll go through more in depth. I'm not here to tell you you should buy now. Everything need to do what? Calculated risk. Everything must take precautions. I'm going to show you how you can take precaution. Because myself is also an investor. I've gone through all the different cycles here. I can share with you how do I go about doing this to ensure your safety, ensure that you are safe when it comes to buy and sell your property. Next, this caused a 115% price increase. Next thing, which is our global financial crisis plus H1N1, same thing. Anybody who take action, the price went up by what? 88%. Subsequently, a lot of major cooling measure causes the price to go down. Again, same thing. When the price goes down, did you take opportunity? So again, the price has what? Gone up by 35%. So if you look at the overall charts here, you can see one very important thing. Those who actually dare to look and study and work towards how to look at numbers, you'll be the first one to benefit eventually. Now, look at the sale. For those people who bought the sale in 2004, during the SARS period, look at how much profit they make. Easily 900,000, $1 million, some of course 500,000-600,000 also have. Is it a very decent profit? That's why I'm saying real estate is not a short-term thing. Real estate is a long-term process. If you can see this as a long-term investment, then you should start to observe and look at all these numbers to help you to see opportunities. Look at Caspian in Jurong. Same thing during H1N1 2009. Most of the owners make $500,000 in profit margin as well. Why? Same thing. When everybody is fearful, they always see an opportunity. Of course, the question is, have they done their precaution? Have they done their numbers calculation? If yes, then should be safe. But later on, you will understand more, right? Same thing for North Park Residences in Yishun. In 2015 also, when the market was down, people actually take a profit margin of what? Also $300,000 to $400,000 in terms of cash, right? Can you imagine any one of those people out there who choose to buy things when people are fearful, actually they make the most out of it. Of course, like I mentioned, make sure everything you know is calculated. Same thing, like Wing Tai recently has launched right, during this crisis period. More than 70% of the unit was sold during the first day launch. Why? Why did the market actually buy more during this kind of situation? Same thing. When the market is down, people seize an opportunity. And that's the reason why 70% of the M was sold. Why? Because very simple, in the one bidder for RCR and CCR, majority of them like St. Thomas, Mayer Mansion House, there are different products here that people are willing to pay $2,500, $2,800, $3,000 per square foot. Why? Because at different location, that only tells you one thing. If you are willing to, if you're comfortable enough, you dare to take opportunity. And that's the reason why what happened. People make the kind of what? Today is important for all of you. Why am I showing you this number? When I'm showing you all this number, mainly only have one objective in mind. So that you know that in the good market, people are willing to pay at this kind of prices. So how much is the M selling? The initial phase during launch, some of the buyers there bought only at $2,001 plus per square foot. Compared to what people has paid $2,500, $2,800 to $3,000, is there an opportunity? But why did actually M can sell these type of prices? Very simple. It's because they bought the land at a lower price. And that's the reason why they can afford to sell you at this price. Can you imagine today, my friend? You can buy a property that is in a core central region in near a CBD area at $2,001 per square foot. Isn't it an opportunity for people? And that's the reason why 70% of the sold. That's why during every crisis is what? It looks at a lot of risk, but there is also a lot of opportunity. That's why today it's important is what? There is good noise and bad noise. It's whether you as a customer yourself, you choose to see things in a negative or a positive way. Of course, I'm not asking you to speculate. Important is what? Learn. That's why I'm saying no speculation. We should focus in what? Focus in growing your wealth in a long-term period, not in a short-term period. If you're short-term, my only thing that I can tell you, please don't do anything. Please don't buy anything. Because why? That is called risk, which I don't think I want you to look at all these things if you're in a speculate mode. That's the reason why I say everything can be calculated, which I'm going to show you in a short while. How can we calculate all this kind of risk? Have we done all the precautions matter? And this is something that you must what? Know. Like, that's why I say, look at our billionaire, Warren Buffett. What is the good thing he says what? When everybody is fearful, you must be greedy. When people are greedy, you must be what? Selling. And this is the kind of situation that why he is a multi-billionaire. Very simple. Because he chooses to buy things when everyone is fearful. And that's the reason why you guys must start to what? To learn, to see things. Same thing for me. I also have been investing since 2004, and this is one of the books that I wrote. And this book talks about what? How to actually save money. That's why we call risk analysis method, RAM. How do I perform a RAM to my purchase? I look at property not just about investment. In fact, I can tell you many of the rich people today, they don't buy property just for the sake of investment. They look at property as a form of saving. And the best thing is that for those people who actually rented out their property, with the lower interest rate today, what's the good news to all of you here? A lot of saving has been done by who? Your tenant. Let's look further. And now, because of the effect, the interest rate for SIBOR has dropped. I'm so lucky that recently I took my loans, I only get less than what? Less than 1.2%. Of course, if you look at current, it's supposed to be about hovering, if I'm not wrong, it's about 1.5% in terms of the SIBOR package. And that is something that is very, very good news because why? In 2008, my interest rate has dropped even to below 1%. I rented out my property of $5,000. I was so surprised one year when I received the bank statement, it shows what? My interest for the last 12 months is only $12,000, which means that every month I'm only paying how much? $1,000 interest, and I'm getting how much return? $4,000 return. Isn't it? This is a fantastic saving. That's the reason why I'm saying real estate is not just about investment. Real estate can be a form of saving, which I personally truly believe it. Why? Look at this. Another thing that I talk about what? Save as you earn. How do we save? Because why? I look at property is just looking at insurance. I don't look at property as a form of just paying installment. I look at it, how do I actually pay every month my principal down? You look at this. This is a interest rate comparison. If I buy a property that is $1 million, the interest rate, there is two components here, left and right. One is 2.2%, the other one is 1.5%. But if you look at the one that is 2.2%, every month, this is for those who are buying new launch. These particular calculators, right, show you one thing. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable to buy a property based on this kind of installment process? If today you are buying a new launch at $1 million, based on the foundation work that you have done, your monthly installment that you're going to pay is only how much? $98, which is the principal. Interest is $91, which means in total you're only paying how much? $180 a month for your installment. Are you comfortable? But with the latest interest rate that has dropped, you only pay how much? $172 in terms of monthly installment. Of course, if you look at the first line, it's not a lot of differences. But if you look at it down the road, actually you save even more. Why do I say so? Just look at over here. Basically, look at the interest for 2.2% based on $458 compared to the other one. The interest that you're paying is only $312, which the difference is $120 over dollars, which means that every month your interest saving is how much? $120. And this $120 goes to where? Actually, it goes to your saving, which is called your principal. You look at this. Every month, you force yourself to save $500. Are you comfortable? At the end of the day, whether you make money or not, but there is a saving for you. Just like you buy insurance, every month you pay how much to your insurance. Now I just ask you to think, instead of paying every month to your insurance, are you able to afford to pay money to your property as a form of insurance as well? Long-term wise, will it generate a better return for you? You can think about it. That's why I'm saying save as you earn. What do I mean by that? That means when you save your money, you are also looking at what? A future profit that you can make as well. Which you have seen many people who owns property actually make money through where? Through properties. That's why I'm saying, ask yourself this question. The agent of yours will definitely advise you whether you are comfortable, whether you are affordable. We can just work out the numbers. Very simple down the road. Trust me, this whole saga will not last you for the next 3 years. Ask yourself in the next 1 to 1.5 years, 1 to 1.5 years, are you comfortable in paying? If you're not comfortable in paying, please don't do anything. That is how I've been investing all this year and buying property. I always ask myself, can I afford? If I cannot afford this monthly installment, please don't do anything. But if I can afford, I'll push myself hard enough to do it. Why? I look at what? Save as you earn in the future. That's how I look at it, right? So you can look at the interest saving, can be easily from what? 80 to how much? To $500 based on the numbers here, right? You can see from here, all the interest will be different over here as well. Now, the next calculator that you want to take a look is what? All these calculator, all my PropNex people can easily work out the numbers for you to see. Based on the purchase of $1 million today, right? You have put your necessary down payment. We can even show you very simple calculation. By paying $1 million property that you are buying, working out the interest rate at 2%, which I put up a higher interest rate, I put out how much my CPF, how much is my cash that I have currently in the market. The calculator is able to work out how much. How long can your reserve fund last for the last how many years? Just like for example, this case. Based on my calculation, based on the $1 million property they are buying, they can easily what? Save for the number of what? 9 years. Provided they actually have a salary. Worst scenario, worst scenario and best scenario. Best scenario means that you actually earn an income, there's CPF payable, and whatever balance CPF is able to service the installment. Worst scenario will tell you, if you are not working, if you are just self-employed, what will happen? You can last you for 5 years. Good time, if you're working, you have this CPF balance, it will last you for 9 years. So why am I telling all of you this particular segment? This particular segment is important for you to understand why. So that when you want to buy a property, you ask yourself this particular question. Am I comfortable or not? Right? Am I comfortable or not? Whether is my reserve fund enough to service my installment? If I'm not going to have my monthly so-called income, how long can it last? All these are very important. That's the reason why for myself, when I buy a property, I always do all this calculation first before I buy anything. Remember, we want to make sure that your investment, your purchase of a property is safe and sound by working out what? All these numbers. That's the reason why am I sharing all these things with you. I'm sharing with you all these things mainly have only one reason. Plan your safety nets, right? Why people actually sell property at a loss? Why people cannot afford to pay the installment? Mainly only have one reason. Do they actually plan their safety net? I'm very confident my Propnex people, they will do all these things for their customer. Because we have calculated, we have done all the calculators that is required for all of you here to run through a safety net. For me, for you, if you want to do anything, remember, everything can be calculated. So if you ask me, property, is it a risky thing to do so? Yes, it's risky if you don't do calculation. It's risky if you don't have a safety net. But if you have done all these things in a very clear manner, by working out the numbers, you will know whether you are safe or not safe. Very simple. Why am I running through this at this point of time? Because I just want you to know, if you really want to do something at this point of time, make sure that this is done for you safety. And why am I drawing through this so-called all these things here? Mainly because I see an opportunity for all of you here. What you need to do here, my friend, look at this safety net. Everyone can also choose to buy property during peaceful time. But during peaceful time, is it the best deal that you can get? Just like what you see just now when I show you. During the uncomfort situation, during the crisis period, people who choose to buy the M at what price? 2,001 per square foot. Why is it 70% was sold? Very simple. They know that during this period of time, they see what? Opportunity. We will never know what is going to happen next. Things can change. Even when I ask all of you here to buy a property during very peaceful time, does it mean that it's safe? During peaceful time, same thing. You must what? Do your safety net too. It's whether you are in a crisis period or non-crisis period, every one of us must do what? Precaution. We must do what? Safety. We must do what? Planning. Financial planning. If you have done all this financial planning properly, is there a fear? Is there a worry? Is there a concern? No. But if you have not done so, my biggest concern for you here is risk. The last thing that I want all of you to do what? Is to take risks. This is not what I want. What I can do for you here is to minimize your risk as low as possible so that you can feel comfortable and safe. I'm very confident all my agents in Propnex is able to help you to grow through this. They are trained to do all this financial planning for all of you here. That's why property, is it a risky investment? People always ask me, right? Of course, it's risky. It's risky. All right, is what? Yes. It's risky if you don't do your research. It's risky if you don't do any precaution. It's risky if you don't do any planning. So, how can we hedge against instead of speculating? How can we use property to hedge to have more money in the long run? Why the rich people choose to buy more property? Because why? They're using their money to hedge for long term. They want to eventually let what? Let the tenant save the money. Don't go into speculation mode. And this is the last thing. This is a very common question. What if the property you bought and today you can only sell at a break-even price? Did you lose money? And this is something that a lot of people have concern. Right? So, now, let's look at this particular case study. This case study talks about you buy a property at $2.4 million. This right-hand side shows you that the current rental is $6,000. Based on $2.4 million, if at the end of the 5 years, if I sell the property at $2.4 million, will I lose money? I can do a calculation for you to see. Again, I'm using my RAM, RAM, right? Risk analysis method to help you to understand this, so that you will feel that whether are you safe in terms of all this investment that you are buying. Now, look at this. This is one of my RAM calculators that shows you what? The saving plan calculator based on zero growth. That means the person who buy this property, they bought at 2.4 million, eventually they sell at 2.4 million, did they actually lose money? Look at this. This left-hand side talk about interest rate of 2.2%. The right-hand side here shows 1.5% interest rate in today's market. So now, what is so powerful it is that this property is rented out for $6,000. And out of this $6,000, the tenant is actually saving how much money for you? Based on 2.2%, they save $3,500. Based on 1.5%, actually the tenant is saving close to $4,000 into your bank account. Can you imagine yourself, the next 5 years down the road, this property is rented out and every month the tenant is saving $4,000 for you. How much will you get eventually? Because why? In a mortgage, there is breakdown in two components, principal and interest. This property is rented out at $6,000. Out in all, you need to pay a mortgage of $6,800. I always tell myself, my property generally today are all rented out. I only tell myself, as long as the tenant pay my interest, anything above that I paid, that the tenant paid, is always my what? My saving. That's why my book talk about what? Force yourself to save money. And the best thing about real estate is what? The money is not saved by you. You only come out with the initial capital. Subsequently, what happened? Someone saved money every month into your piggy bank. Isn't it wonderful? And that is how it works. And look at it, because of the interest rate has dropped, the interest rate used to be 3,003, has dropped to how much? 2,002. That means the interest rate has dropped. It allows the tenant to save more money for you. Isn't it? This is what we all wanted as well. That's why today I'm holding so many properties, right? Why I'm not afraid? Because every property today is all rented out. Why today the resale market transaction is very slow? Very simple. When the resale market is very slow, it's because why? With the lower interest rate environment, people don't need to rush to sell. They just let the property run. The tenant actually can what? Save the money for them. And that is how it works. Right? So, look at the interest like what I mentioned to you here. It's so low. Right? Now, the next one that I'm talking about here, previous one that I talk about is zero growth. Now I talk about here is 1% growth. Let's assume in the next 5 years down the road, every year that the property can only grow by 1%. Is it fair? Because inflation is about 3%. I only talk about property only increase by 1% per annum. That means you hold this property, the next 5 years only increase by how many percent? 5%. Which you see many of the property that is increased more than the number, but I don't want to be overcommit. I always tell people, everybody wants to make money. But I always tell people, making money, we cannot guarantee. Most important, we must make sure that is what? Our risk is at the lowest at every moment of time. Whether is it a comfort situation, whether it's a crisis period, whether it's a peaceful situation, every of this little thing here, we must what? Take precautions. That's why you can see from here. Look at this. First, the tenant, based on 2.2%, they save how much for you? 224,000. If based on 1.5%, sorry, you will save how much? $246,000 plus capital appreciation for the last 5 years at 1%, they will make another $120,000. If you add these two, add up together, will give you about how much? $366,000 in terms of capital appreciation. So now, this is what I'm talking about here. Based on calculation, you can see what? The return of equity based on the interest rate of 2.2% is 43. How do I get for return of equity based on this? Basically, I take how much? The capital appreciation plus the principal that I add up together, divide by the capital outlay that I've actually come up with, I work out it's about 8.6 per annum. If I look at the positive 1.5% interest rate, my saving is about 10.4% per annum. What am I telling you, my friend? Why am I showing you this? That means today, if you choose to put a sum of money into a bank, how much can the bank give you in terms of return based on the fixed deposit? And I know that today the fixed deposit has dropped below 1%. If I take a calculation of common FD at 1.3% versus what you are putting in an asset is 10.4% per annum, and that is only based on how many percent growth? 1% growth. And this calculator that works very well for you is what? It only tells you one thing. Even today, if I don't make a single cent out of it, will I lose money? I always like to play safe. I like to buy property, but I also want to play safe so that what? I don't want to take risks. I tell you, my friend, I'm more careful than anybody because that's the reason why I'm very good in my numbers. Why? Because I want to be safe. I want my consumer out there to be safe as well. During any point of time, whether crisis or non-crisis, we must always be what? Protected. We must always calculate what? Our reserve fund. We must always take precaution in everything that we do so that you will be safe in any situation. We can't wait for things to happen, then we react. We must always plan for the worst scenario. That's the reason why my previous RAM calculators can help you to achieve this. Speak to any of my PropNext people, they will be able to assist you on this. Now, if you compare a fixed deposit, today 650,000, if you put in a 1% fixed deposit, you give you how much? 32,500. But if you choose to put this 650,000, my friend, remember, it's just the numbers, it's 650,000, you just take it out, right? Either you choose to put into a bank, which is maybe UOB or whatever bank that you're talking about, or you choose to put into a property. To me, this is your own bank, Kelvin Fong's bank, right? Same thing, you choose. Which one do you want? If I take out the money, if I put in the bank, you give me only 32,000. But if I choose to put money, 650,000, I shift everything to this house, what do I get? I get my principal, the tenant save the money for me, plus my capital appreciation, my total saving is 366,000. Is it more worth to save this money in the asset? And the best thing is what, my friend? The tenant actually save money for you. Just look at this very simple example, right? Based on this, 246,000, it divided by 5 years. Every month, almost the tenant save how much money? That means you just need to imagine $650,000. This $650,000 that you put into a fixed deposit, which is your house. Every month, the tenant give you $4,000. My friend, which bank can give you $4,000 a month for 650,000? There's nothing. So the best thing to me here is what? This. So even today, many of you here may choose to buy a new launch. Why I still prefer to buy a new launch? Mainly because why? There's appreciation. Even if the time when the property has appreciated, you choose not to sell, what will happen? You can rent out. You can rent out. Of course, during my other seminars, I talk about the differences. Why people today choose to buy a new launch? Later on, I'll probably explain, right? Because they see a profit margin again, or probably your agent later on can explain to you even clearer. But today, my objective is what? To share with you the difference between putting money in a bank versus in an asset. And all this can be what? Calculated. Next, will the developer cut price in today's market? This is a very common question that most customers will always ask. Well, if I am a normal person out there, I will also think that the developer will definitely cut price. Well, let me explain further. It's all about supply and demand. Of course, when there's a lot of supply, definitely people will feel unsafe. Developer will want to release all the unit. But is there a lot of supply? Is there a lot of demand? Let's see further. Now, this is what I've actually done in terms of my tabulation. How many developers' units will be affected by what? By the ABSD revision. Like I mentioned, every developer, there is a time frame for them to sell, especially for government land sale. They have 5 years, or even for en bloc, they have 5 years, they must sell all. If they don't sell if they miss to sell one particular unit, they have to pay ABSD remission back on their land cost and with interest rate charge, which a lot of developers will not want to. But now, this year, looking at the numbers, total there's 43 units. Next year, total 342 units. Following year, 5275. Of course, the highest number is where? 2023, 12,000. I'm very sure many of you will be thinking now, I think I better buy during this period of time because developer, a lot of units they can't sell, they will have to what? Reduce price. But I want to tell all of you here, this is what we see. But you must understand that every year there are people who consume all these numbers downward. Every year people need to buy. Same thing, there's 43 units. But every year, how many units are sold? Today in the market, unsold supply is about 32,000. This is based on the latest number. If based on 32,000, I just need to sell 8,000 units in 4 years, I will clear all the 32,000 units. So, am I able to clear? The next question here. Based on the history, last year, 2019, there's total close to 9,009 over units are sold. 2018, 8,007. 2017, 10,000 units. Only the 2015-16 is about close to 7,005 units. So if you look at the numbers, if I take an average, do you think can sell 8,000 units every year? If this whole crisis is over, I can tell you one thing. Next year, the market will run very fast. Why? Because I can tell you, later I'll explain to you why next year the market will run. But can you wait for the market to run before you buy? You are smart. The developer are smart too. Because they know whether the market is going up or going down. Very simple. All of us know. But they know one thing for sure, that today they cannot do what? They cannot increase price. They dare not raise price. So is it an opportunity for you to start saying? That's what you need to see. Then you will say, Kelvin, what about en bloc? What about government land sales? You can see that the government en bloc numbers have dropped significantly. Today, if you are a developer yourself, my friend, will you actually buy land to build now? No, right? If based on the government land sales, this year, first half of the year, the confirmed lease is only 1,007. If based on 1,007 plus just now the 32,000 is about 34,000, do you think that it can be consumed in the next 4 years down the road? I think it's easily consumed. And the best thing is now, the government has what? Listed Singapore developer can get exemption for QC for those en bloc people. See, the government are also doing their part to what? They know that today is a crisis period. They are also helping the developer to extend the QC, to make it more flexible for listed company. So you can see that, why would the developer rush in now to sell you at the lower price? And I will tell you the reason why the developer can't do it in a short while. Today, why developer can't cut price drastically? Very simple. Look at this. This is Wing Tai who bought the piece of land. They bought the land in March 2019, which is due for ABSD only in 2024. The land cost they bought is 1,458 per square foot. Their break even is 2,198 per square foot. There is a formula for us to work out the number. So with a 10% profit, they are only selling at 2,004 per square foot. Like I just now mentioned to you, based on this break even price, are they selling you a high price? Look at the launch of the M, 2001. Why a lot of customers wanted to buy a property in the M? Because they know that they are selling at what price? Break-even price. Even those who bought 2002, 2003, whatever, they're only buying our price. They are still buying below what the 10% profit margin. So is it fair for a developer who has built the whole thing, they make less than 10%? Who has a higher risk? As an individual has higher risk, or as a developer has higher risk? That's the reason why why would the developer sell at this low price? Because of the market. You have a chance, you have an opportunity. And that's the reason why you can what? Take this opportunity to what? To reach out, to talk to your customer. There are many developments out there now are going at a very, very good price for you to look at. After the launch, the price has also gone up fairly to almost 10% profit margin as well. So you can see what? What is the message I want to tell all of you here? Action, speed. Another example I want to share with you here. This is the West Coast government land sales. There's 3 plots of land that is very close to one another in the West Coast. This is Park Rivera. They bought the first land, at 551 per square foot. Subsequently, the Twinville bought the land, the developer bought the land at 592. And subsequently, CDL bought the land at $800 per square foot. You look at the 3 plots of land. By right, the last plot of land, they must sell at a higher price. But why eventually they did not manage to sell a higher price? Because of the market situation, because of the cooling measure. They cut the cooling measure last year in July 2018. The government injected a cooling measure on ABSD. As a result, what happened? The price started to slow down. But what am I trying to tell you here? Look at further. Launched before cooling measure, 85% sold. 442 units sold. Compared to Whistler Grand, After the cooling measure was eased, they only sell 150 units. And what's the price they sold? Based on TwinView, the average selling price is 1,004 per square foot, 1,498 per square foot. The highest average is 1,425. You look at Whistler Grange. They bought the land expensive, but they're selling at 1,270 per square foot to 1,006 per square foot. Based on this whole exercise here, what do you see? When the market is during the downturn, you have an opportunity to buy. Why the developer cannot sell you at a lower price way below? By right, if you look at the market, it's bad. Whistler Grange must be selling at what price? Selling at way below $1,000 per square foot. Why the developer cannot sell? Because all the customer out there, you must know one very important thing. The developer borrow money from the bank. They already promised the bank the average selling price. They cannot sell way below the average selling price. If they sell way below, what will happen? The bank will not grant the loan to them, and they will be at risk. And that's the reason why eventually the property will still sell at what kind of price? 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500 per square foot. Average, you see here, 1,449 per square foot, 1,498 per square foot. What am I trying to tell you here? The land was more expensive. By right, they should sell higher. But eventually, they sold at the average price lower than what the previous developer is selling during the good time. So, good time and bad time, you must understand. This is an opportunity for you to start what? Open your eyes to what? To see things. Now, the next thing I want to share with you here is what? Real estate versus stock market, which I think many people always say that stock market is more liquid than real estate. Actually, you're not wrong. But I personally feel that stock market is very liquid. The sad news is that it's also too liquid as well. Why am I saying that? Too liquid means that I can easily buy, I can easily sell. When I sell with a profit, I can easily buy back again. Because why? There's always a greed element in terms of stocks. Let's look further. Just like look at DBS, for example. Average price now probably $18. When if you have $200,000 in your pocket now, if I put $200,000, I probably can buy 11 lots at $18. If the stock goes up to $21, will you sell? Your profit margin probably is about $33,000. After you have made $33,000, my next question to you here is that when you can make fast money because it's so liquid, will you go in and buy again? Most people, why burn in stock? Because they can enter very easily, they can also exit very easily. That is my personal opinion. That's the reason why I personally prefer property much more. Why? Yes, it's not liquid, but there is a holding power. Even if the market is down, my friend, the tenant is saving money for you. As for stock market, is different. I myself hold some stocks as well. I see how the prices has dropped. I see how much dividend they have given me. Compared to my property, I would choose property in my first opinion. Not because I'm an agent here, I sell you property, that's why I promote property to you. I look at it, I find that I only find myself that I feel that stock market is very liquid and it's very speculative to me. But real estate is a fixed asset. It's something that you can see. Even if you're not in a rush, you don't need to sell. Let the property run. Like what I previously showed you just now. Let the mortgage being serviced by who? The tenant. Will you have any fear? No. So if you ask me, I feel this is the better way. Let's leave further. Look at North Park Residences. North Park Residences, this property, they bought the property at that point of time, 2015. They bought a property at 1,002 plus per square foot, almost to 1,003. Yeah? And they eventually sold at 1,006 per square foot. No? Even for Yishun in today's market, they can still sell at this price. Right? It bought in 2015 at 1,281. The total absolute price is about 1.24 million. And they paid a 20% down payment at that point of time because it's only 20% compared to now it's 25%. They paid $250,000 inside here. After 4 years, the profit margin is 339, right? 339,000. The return of equity is 137%. If you ask me, which is a better returns, property or stocks? If you look at it, stock market, the difference is what? The money is very loose. You can easily make 33,000. You can easily make 10,000, 20,000. But this 10, 20,000, do you actually save the money? My next question to you. But buying a property is different. Why? it forces you to sieve this $600,000 into your bank. Either you choose to take this $600,000 and reinvest in a property. So the money is actually what? Growing. Do you know why the rich become richer? Because they accumulate assets. They make use of the profit margin to keep growing and growing. Because why? Every money that comes in, they don't spend out. But if you can make $3,000, $10,000 from the stock market, will you literally save it inside? I'm not so sure. Some people make a few thousand, they can spend that few $1,000s. But property is different. You take $600,000 back, right? I'll take $600,000 to do what? To reinvest again. So I see a difference in terms of property versus what? Stocks. And what do I mean by that? Stocks and property, what's the difference? First, stocks got no leverage. Liquidity is very fast. Yes, you can buy and sell very fast. But that is also very scary. That means you have, whether you're speculating, I'm not so sure. Of course, some people definitely for long term, definitely is good. As long as, my friend, if you are not speculating, then I think it's safe. I'm not saying stock is no good. You should still buy stocks. But between stocks and shares, between stocks and property, I see a difference. And stocks, you are using 200,000, whatever amount of money, to purchase a share compared to property. And dividends. Yeah, you get dividends. But just like I mentioned to you, I do not know. I think my dividends, I don't get as much compared to my tenant who saved the principal money, $4,000. I think they save more money, right? Property, you get full leverage, like what I mentioned to you just now. The Yishun, North Park, they only take how much money? Out of 1.2 million, they only take $250,000, and they borrow they borrow about $1 million from the bank, and they borrow $1 million, they make $300,000. They are using whose money? They are using other people's money to help them to what? To make the extra, how much? 300 over 1,000. That's the difference between stocks and property. Stocks, no leverage. This one, I leverage 80% or 75%. Liquidity is lower. That means I don't take property as a speculation. Because why? Even if I cannot sell within the next 3 years down the road, I can still hold it for long term. I can purchase a property, I use the money, right? Because why? They'll purchase a share, this one purchase a property. It's yours, right? The rental return based on the principal saving is huge. Like I mentioned to you just now, you can see a huge amount of what? Saving inside here. Like this. This is a newspaper article that I saw recently. Look at this. They bought a Mayer Road 1650 square feet for $580,000 in 2006. Can you imagine for this kind of size? Today in Mayer Road, what will be the cost be? Easily $2 million, easily, right? And they make a decent profit. Then they move to Binjai Park, they make another profit. They move to Clementi Park, they make another profit. Now they're Bartley residents, they sold a profit. Why? Small profit. Why? They're going to buy another property, which they don't want to pay the additional stamp duty. And that's the reason why they make lesser. But the whole idea you can see from here is what? They accumulate their assets through profit. Through this, they grow, and that's how people get what? Richer through property investment. That's how I feel, right? So now I'm going to go I've talked about 5 things just now that what stops you from buying. Of course, that is all my opinion and this is all my sharing here, right? At the end of the day, it's still your choice. Lastly, before I go into this particular segment, I just want you to take note of one very important thing. Real estate is not about speculating. Real estate can be another form of saving in long term for you. And that's what I'm doing for myself, and that's what you should be doing for yourself too, right? Now I'm going to do something very special for you to leave you an understanding. How do we learn how to cash out money and grow your assets? I think this is a very common question. Why must I sell my house? Well, why do I sell my house in the past? Because I use my money to what? To grow. Is your asset a liability or is it creating a value for you? What do I mean by that? Later I'll explain to you this. You look at these Shaw owners. They bought a property at 1,001 per square foot. If they were to sell in 2014, they probably can make $500,000 because why? The price has gone up to 1,006 per square foot. Based on 1,006 minus whatever that you paid for, you probably make $500,000. But you can see what happened. A new launcher, for those people who intend to buy a new launch today, if you can enter here, you can exit over here. Why? Because the developer actually help you to what? Push up the price. Subsequently, the resale market, it becomes stagnant. Why? Why is it so? Can you imagine some of you who choose to buy a resale property the last 4 years you bought a property and they don't even make a single cent out of it? How will you feel? But why did the new launch actually they make that kind of money? That is how it works. Why? Because for new launches, right, you can see here, just now I show you the M, right? They bought, those who bought early, they bought 2001. But some of them bought at 2004, 2005. They already developed what? Push up the price for you. So when they push up the price for you, that means next time when you buy at 2001, can you sell at 2004? Yes. The one who bought at 2004, they have to sell at what? 2007. So eventually, every one of the property prices is being what? Raised up in that manner. So for those people who are looking at resale, can. Of course, resale is safe. Why? Because for the resale property, there's a difference. Because why? Resale is controlled by all the owners. If everyone is, again, demand and supply. If every one of you are selling this price at 1,003 per square foot here, we need to clear all the 1,003 before the 1,004 will go up. Before the 1,005 will be next. If everyone is still selling at 1,003, will the price goes up? No. Why? Because all the owners are what? Selling at the same price. But for new launch, what is the difference? The developer actually what? Stitch up the price for you. So what you need to do here is what? If you can enter early, if you can buy at the right price, what will happen? You actually let the developer what? Stitch the price up for you. That is the wonderful part of it. Now, why am I showing you this example here? So I'm trying to tell every one of you here, if today your property has reached a peak, and if it's stagnant, ask your agent to work out the numbers for you to see. Is your property stagnant? Should I change my portfolio? Let's see. Should I restructure? Should I keep? Same, this customer, if they were to sell the show at 2014, they bought a property at 2014, they exit again in 2018, how much will they make? They take out their profit margin. Just now they took out how much? 500,000 plus the initial down payment. They already gotten 700,000 in pocket now. If they take $700,000 today, I'm not asking you to buy 2 units. If you were to buy another unit, for example this, 0205, for example, if they were to make another profit of 300,000 compared to the property that they own in the show for the last 4 years, which don't make a single cent out of it, compared to what you buy here, you can make another 300,000. Will you want to sell your house? How the rich get richer? Because they use their property to keep moving forward. You cannot be keeping your property moving, keep the property for long. You must learn how to cash out the property to let your money work hard for you. But if you let your money stay in the house, I can tell you, that will not work. Because why? It will not help you to grow in that sense. So remember, my friend, you need to do what? You need to let your property work hard for you and not let your money stuck inside the house. Like I mentioned to all of you here, I say all of you, imagine yourself the last 3-4 years down the road. If you choose not to actually, if you choose to just work hard for your company, can you save 300,000? For those people who owns just now the show, husband and wife, if the husband can own 1 show and the wife can own 1 show unit, will their profit margin only $500,000? Their profit margin, if at that point of time each husband and wife own 1 unit, today their profit margin is more than $1 million. Same thing. Currently your house, is it stagnant? Will you want to take this opportunity to change your portfolio and let your money come out and roll for you? Will you want to make the same mistake again? The property is stuck there and not working hard. That is your choice. Again, like I mentioned to you, everything is calculated. I'm not asking you to speculate. After that, you must learn one thing. How can I work out my reserve fund? The word is called reserve fund. Our RAM calculator, which we have designed, will be able to work out all the necessary reserve fund for you. Your agent will be able to show you how this calculator can work fantastic for you. They can show you the worst scenario, they can show you the positive scenario, so that you can make a better decision when it comes to buying and selling your house. And this is important. Right? Why did I go through this with you, my friend? The only question I want to ask all of you here is what? How much do you need to retire? Like for example this. Do you know that retire at the age of 62? Imagine all of you here, my friend. If you are at age 62 now, and you want to live until 80 with only 2,500 income, Ask yourself this question, how much do you need? You will need easily $500,000 amount in your bank. That means, what am I trying to tell you here? If you don't have $500,000, what will happen? You have to continue to work hard from 62 until 80. I'm not saying that you should not work hard. I'm not saying that you should not work. You should still work to keep yourself healthy. Important is we don't want to stress. Why? Because we have worked hard for the last 30 years. Can you imagine you got to work hard for the next 30 years? Is that what you want in life? So why am I sharing this with you, my friend? I'm sharing this with you because why? I want you to see yourself at the age of 62, your life can be a happier one. You and your wife can enjoy the life like this old couple here. And that's what we want you to be, right? So ask yourself this question. What is your age now? At the age of 62, what is the property quantum that you should own? Is it 500,000? Is it 600,000? Is it 1 million? Is it 2 million? Is it 5 million? Or is it 10 million? I want to tell you, let me show you an example. For our parents who own a HDB, 1990 is only 46,000. But today it's worth 320,000. Did the property appreciate a lot? Yes, it has appreciated a lot. But what can they do with the money? 320,000. Can they buy another property? No. Just how much do you need to retire? $500,000. Can they sell? No. Just imagine those who bought a 5-room, not bad, you got 130,000. Today it's still worth $500,000. If you truly want to retire, you sell this property and buy 320,000. You're probably left with 150,000. If you spend $50,000 away for your renovation, you only have how much? 100,000. Question is, can you retire? Can you retire? You can't. That's the reason why a lot of people, what must you do? You must learn. You must learn how to grow your financial. Not just only let your money stuck there and not working. I only have this purpose to share with you because why? I see, for example, private property. Look at this. 1995, someone bought Pandan Valley at 1.18 million. Today worth how much? 2.6 million. If based on 2.6 million, I minus $500,000 away, can I easily have 2 million to retire? Look at this Lake Point. Easily got 1.5 million. If I minus $500,000 away, can I have $1 million to retire today? But what I'm trying to tell you here, if those who are only 35 years old, 40 years old, in the future of 60 years old at $1 million is nothing because your HDB will worth more than 700,000 to 800,000. So again, can you retire? You can't. So why am I sharing this with you, my friend? Why am I going through all this with you? My end goal has only had one objective. At your age of 62, what is your end goal in mind, this number? Is it going to be just 500,000? Is it going to be $3 million? And all of you, I tell you, for those who are younger one, you should easily aim for 5 million. Whether yes or no, no one will know. The only thing is that you must plan ahead to grow this. End objective, my clear objective is very simple. I want all of you to work towards that life. Because why? Just like the couple that I showed you just now previously in the article, they use asset to grow so that today they can own a property that is big enough for the family. You may not be able to enjoy a very, very happy house now, but down the road, can you enjoy a bigger house for your family? Can you have a better life for retirement? And that's the end objective that you want in life, I'm sure, right? Now, what I've shared so much for the last 1 hour or so, I just want to take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm the business for 18 years now, running the whole agency with my bosses, and also one of the writers and the author for these particular books, but I don't sell anymore. But this book is all about what? Saving, right? Just a little bit intro. This is my family. This is how I started from nothing, how I've grown my asset as well. Of course, this is what I am. Today, this is where I'm staying now. I bought at 2,500 per square foot. This is the time when I bought when the market was not strong, right? And today, the price is going at $3,000 over per square foot, looking at the numbers. Of course, whether the market is at what price, if I don't choose to sell, can I rent out the property? I also can rent out, right? This is one of the property that I bought also in 2017 at $2,050 per square foot. Today, the price is what? Today the price is about 2005, 2006, 2008 per square foot. Why is it so? It's like that. I can tell you, I've seen a unit, second floor, selling at $2,000 per square foot. 0202 and 0201, 0102 is selling how much? 2007. Sold, right? Why is it so? I mentioned to you, new launch, the developer what? stage the price for you. I'm very sure my agent is able to advise you the difference between a new launches and a resale market in today. Now, these are all my existing properties that I have owned, and I rented out my property as well. Of course, this is my last house that I bought just recently for landed properties, cost more than $10 million. Why do I actually show you? Not because I want to be boastful of what I've achieved. This is not what my intention. My intention is, I'm telling you, I started at the age of 32, but today I'm at the age of 40s, right? I'm working towards to build my nest as well, right? Same thing for you guys here. Are you building your nest? Why am I going through all this? Not to show you how I've achieved. No. My only agenda in my mind is that I'm someone started from a HDB property and how I've grown from here. Same thing for you. Do I enjoy my life initially? No. I also work hard. Same thing for all of you here. Are you able to build this bird nest eventually? You have to. How? Start now. Start to build it over here. That's why I always believe what? Real estate, there is a techniques for you to learn. There is always a system to help us. There's always a network like what we are doing now. Your agents will be able to share with you all the necessary details that can help you to make a better what? Decision. Now, next I want to share with you. First, we talk about buying. Look at all the obstacles. I also want to take this opportunity to share with you something called the exit part. Now, I want to ask every one of you a question. Today, will you dare to buy a ticket to London for the year-end December? Will you? And will it be cheap if you buy now for December? This is my question to you. But I can tell you, most people will not buy a... If you can ask any friends out there, if you ask them whether will you buy a ticket, they will tell you what? No, very uncertainties. I would never want to buy a air ticket now because why? I don't know when the virus is going to be over. But today, if you can buy a ticket to London, will it be cheap? I think so lah, in my opinion, right? Right? But what will happen? Can you imagine in the next 9 months down the road, we are all being locked. You see this picture, right? Everyone is being locked down. Can you imagine when all of us are able to travel, what will happen? Everybody will take plane, right? By the time, my friend, will your price of your ticket double? And will you still pay for it? You have no choice. Because why? We have been in the jail for the last 6-9 months. We have not been traveling. I think everyone is stuck in the house. No. Can you imagine when it's open, what will happen? Will the price be low? Why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this example here? Actually, I'm telling you this is the same as property. Can you imagine when everything is smooth that time? Will the property be at that kind of price you want to buy low or not? Everybody will be rushing in because why? Everything becomes smooth that time. Everything will goes up in prices as well. Same thing for tickets. Why I use this analogy to tell you? This is the very common mistake that most people will make. So I'm not telling you that you must buy your air ticket now, but I'm just telling you to understand one thing. This is how the real estate works. When everybody is comfortable, the price will gradually go up. When things are not in the right position, actually I can tell you it's always a lot of opportunity that you can buy something what? Cheap today. Right? And why am I showing you this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you in the first example when I talk about this chart. Right? Same thing. Those who dare to take risks, they make the most out of it. Those who choose not to take risks, they wait for everything to be smooth. Eventually what? They pay a higher price. This is what I can share with you here. Looking at the past history, looking at the past number, this is a very clear example for you to see this. So why would I think that it's a good time to take action now? Not because I want you to buy, but everything must be calculated. Important, I see this. This is the property that is going to TOP, number of units that are going to expect completion, this chart. This was in the past. The supply goes up. That means 25,000 people will collect key in the year of 2016. Supply go down. You look at the government, actually released a cooling measure in 2017. Why? Because the supply is going to be over. And a development takes how long to build? 3 to 4 years. So the government knows one thing. If my supply is weak and there is a demand for houses, prices will go up. Can the government wait for the last minute in 2019, then they release the cooling measure, let the property goes up? By the time, my friend, property prices will what? Increase. Now, this is the latest. Supply goes up, right? And now supply goes down, right? Same thing. This will drop, right? So when will the government release the cooling measure? Now, you will see. Now I combine both charts for you to take a look. Supply goes up, supply drop, this is the number, how it drop, right? So you can see one very important thing is what? You can see that when will the government tweak the cooling measure? Personally, a development take how long to build? 3 to 4 years. But we know that the supply is weak here. So will the government actually allow the cooling measure to be early to feed the supply? 3 years. Why I say that this year is good time, right? First, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And very highly chances next year or towards next year, the government has to tweak a cooling measure. Why? To let the supplies to come out. You look at it. In 2017, when the government released the cooling measure, what happened? The supply goes up. 2018, the government knows that the number of supply has gone up, increased the number already. What did the government do? They stopped the cooling measure. They jam brake. So when they pull the handbrake, what happened? Everything started to slow down. So I'm very confident. I'm not saying confident. I personally believe, right? If I buy this year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, they cannot wait for 2023, then they release a cooling measure. Because why? The supply will be what? Weak, right? So if they really apply here, for example, 2021 or 22, what happened? SSD, because now we buy a property, we have to wait 3 years in order to avoid paying stamp duty. This is just nice. 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, I can sell the property. I can sell at a premium price. So this is what I feel that you should look at it. Is it an opportunity or not for you to take a look? Now, why I personally feel that Singapore is a safe haven to hold properties after this saga? Do you see my point, right? Why I personally see? First, I just want to share with you here. I personally believe that the strong government support during this crisis, if we look at the last couple of months, I think all the foreigners out there can see very clearly that our Singapore government has been working very well to so-called support our people during crisis. This is a recognition that most people see. Because why? Till today, we have not even locked down at all, while other countries are locking down. Why? Because our government is very strong. So if any, I can tell you next year, the foreigners, once this thing is settled down, the foreigners will be coming in to buy property. Why? Because they know that this is a place that is very safe haven. We have very good medical system, support system. That's why a lot of people are being taken care of. First, we have a good tracking system of what? All those virus that is being detected, right? So that people can be safe and sound. We have a good security system that is in place. That's why what happened? We have a lot of protection and precaution. You see, if you look at all the social media and news out there, we can see many countries are very, very what? Very, very pitiful. Many people are not well taken care. Why? Because lack of supply. But look at Singapore. It's well taken care by so many things. Our supply of food, our supply of everything, medical, everything is what? All preserved. And they demonstrated our effectiveness in what? Managing what? Crisis. This is what we can see, right? And of course, lastly, we have a very low interest rate environment. Because of all these crises, you can see our country benefit what? That's why a lot of people buy property from Singapore and Hong Kong. Why? Because Singapore, when the market goes down in terms of interest rate, Singapore will definitely benefit, same as Hong Kong. But if you look at the market today, China is very messy now, also because with US. Look at Hong Kong is also. So where will the money flow into an Asia country? Actually Singapore. Singapore tends to be a very safe place for people to look at what? Property, to hold, not just about investment. They just want to hold for long term because why? Our government has a very strong support system, right? To help this. I can tell you, my friend, next year you will see a surge of foreigners coming in because why? They look at all these things. All those who are rich enough, they can see because why? They can visualize how Singapore's system works. And they will definitely have very confident about what? Our countries. This will really prove many things for many people. So, why am I going through all these things with you? I only have one agenda. For you to see that Singapore is a long-term for property investment. As long as you trust the government, you trust what they are doing, everything will be very what? Safe and sound. That's why you look at this couple, same thing. They actually own bookstores, right? Actually, how are you going to make money? Because they know that the book's price has come down. So what do? They make money, they go into what? Property. That's why real estate is a long-term process. It's not a short-term process. If you really look at property for long-term, then you should not be worried about just a short time frame that this virus is. Like I mentioned to you, as long as you have done your precautions, done your safety net, all these things can be mitigated. All these risks can be calculated. Just that you need to engage the right agents to help you, which I'm very confident that my PropNex people will be able to advise you, because we have all the tools that is available in their software that we have created for them. So if you want to understand more in terms of details, you have the right person to what? To assist you moving forward. That's why in today's market, I can only wish that, very simple, I only wish that, let's hope that the virus can be over soon, so that all of us can stay calm, so that we can all stay healthy, and that's what we want. I really hope that the last 1.5 hours you do learn something from me, and I hope that you will add value to you and benefit you for long term. Thank you so much for watching this video, and really talk to all our PropNex people to have a better, clearer picture. Thank you so much. Well, now I want to come to a very important